Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Snap Decisions. I am your host with the most, your Snap DJ, coming at you today with a very special guest I have with me. Multi-infinite player, high ladder player, new Mutant Snap. What is up, man? How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on. I'm excited to talk with you.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I want to, many times I talk to people because I'm not a high infinite player. Never was.
Ah,
I never hit infinite at all. I got to 99 once and that was the closest I got. But yeah, so I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about that because love to have my audience hear from you, someone who's gotten there and done things like that monthly. So, get some tips and tricks maybe from you as to how you go about doing that. So we'll get into that. But yeah, man. First of all, let everybody know where they can find you. I know you're on the hellscape they call Twitter. But yeah, where can my listeners find you?
yeah, just on Twitter.
Okay,
I don't stream. Uh, yet I might.
nice.
I think I might be working towards it, but I don't have a channel or anything. But I have a pretty good following on Twitter. It's
Yeah,
at New Mutant Snap over there, and uh, I love talking about the game, and I will try to talk to everybody who wants to talk to me about it. So I
awesome,
welcome
awesome.
everybody to come over.
Awesome.
So
We
thank you.
found out we were mutual Cowboys fans. Of course, he's wearing the Cowboys hat right now, so there you go. A lot to talk about with the Cowboys earlier in the before we started the show, but yeah, so that's awesome. I don't find that many where I am in Pennsylvania. It's mostly all I like to call it Philadelphia. I know that doesn't endear a lot of people to me, but I am not a big fan of the Philadelphia football team. so so
It endears me to you. So you got me. So
Man, I'll tell you, the stories I can tell. My father, remember, used to drive me to games when I was probably, oh my gosh, probably like early 80s. I was probably in, 11, 12 years old or so. And my dad was just the kind of guy who he was a bold dude and he just didn't care. And he had a Cowboys license plate on his Cadillac. And he pulls into Philly Stadium and they have a guy outside giving away stickers. So he hands him a couple stickers, and my dad looks at it. He goes, well, wait a minute. These are Eagle stickers. I'm a Cowboy. He goes, where's the Cowboy sticker? Guy looks at him. He goes, man, you're in Philadelphia. I don't have any Cowboy stickers to give you. And so my dad, being the bold guy he is, and almost bold to the point of where if he did this today, man, he'd be in big trouble. He literally stopped his car, got out of the car, took the sticker, put it on his tire, and did like a shot with the tire, spun the tire on the sticker in
oh
front
wow.
of this dude. And I'm like, oh my God, Dad. I am surprising you. Yeah, you didn't get knifed, killed, something or other up in Philadelphia because, man, you don't do anything like that today. But yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. So there you go. Well, we're not here to talk about football. Unfortunately, we could do that another time, but we're here to talk about some Marvel Snap. So yeah. So first of all, I wanted to get a little bit of background on you. So playing Marvel Snap, obviously, since how long were you playing since? Did you start right in beta?
Yes, I did. I
Okay.
did.
How was the
Um,
beta experience? Because obviously didn't get in at that time.
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
It was. I don't know. I think the game really took off for me after beta when it was open to everybody. That's when I
Okay.
was really started really enjoying it. Um, and I don't know. Yeah, it definitely started really taking off for me after the fact. After till everybody went and when everybody started getting into the game. When did you start? I'm sorry.
I started around the Miles season. That
Okay.
that was when Miles Morales. So I think someone told me that was like a month or two in, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. Yeah. So that was when
Yeah.
I
It's been
started.
it's been a
Yeah.
couple years. So
Yeah.
um
How was the game back then? I mean, was it like I can't even imagine how it would play. Were there a lot of people? Like, were you able to get matches and stuff easily or no?
I never had any issues.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, I
Okay.
think it played well. But
Good.
like I said, I really loved when it opened up to everybody is when it for me is when I started to really love it.
Really like it. Yeah. No, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha. What how did you find out about it? Did you see like the ads and stuff like that for it, or
I did see ads because you mentioned earlier if I had came from a different card game,
Mhm.
and I did not at
Oh
all.
wow, okay.
Um, yeah, I've never honestly I've never really I mean besides a child playing Pokemon and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I never played card games. Um, I've always been like a single player, like Resident Evil and Metal Gear
Nice.
Solid
Okay.
and stuff like that. Um, I've never been a mobile gamer really. This is my first real experience with mobile gaming.
Wow. All right.
Um, yeah, so I'm just a very big comic fan and a very big
Nice.
Marvel fan. I
Nice.
collect comics. Um, got a first appearance of Miles right there.
Oh yeah,
Um,
okay.
yeah, so yeah, that's where my interest came from was being a Marvel fan. I saw a new Marvel game, so I was like, I'm going to apply, get into it. So
Okay.
yeah, it was fun. It's fun, and
Nice.
I love it.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. You get people coming from like all different directions with it. Sometimes it's because they were mobile gamers. Sometimes a lot of people I know followed it because they were Hearthstone players. Because of course Ben Brode came from Hearthstone, so
Hmm.
some people just followed him over. I came for the same reasons you did. Well, first, I mean, I did play. There was Man, I always forget how long ago this was, but I want to say maybe it had to be 5, 6 years ago. There was a Marvel card game back then that was called Marvel Battle Lines that I played for a little bit. It lasted, it was right around the time when Infinity War came out, and it lasted until Black Panther, so it didn't last very long. But it was a very much a money grab game. They had packs in the game that you could buy. You had to buy. They had levels of packs. So what the rarest pack were the ones where you're going to find the good characters. Like at that time, it was Thanos that everybody wanted. So to get it though, you had to spend so much money. Like people think Snap is bad. Oh no, no. Like those packs cost, I think, $75 for one pack, which is
Oh,
insane. And then all of a sudden, like out of the blue, right? You get kind of invested in this, and you're playing. And it wasn't a bad game. It was kind of reminding of a tic-tac-toe board. There were like spaces on the
mhm.
board, and you put your cards into certain spaces. And if that card had more power than the other, it would beat that card. And it just you're almost kind of trying to play like chess in a way, I guess.
Mhm.
But then all of a sudden, like Black Panther coming out, they're saying, "Oh yeah, we got the Black Panther set coming." Blah blah. A day or so after, they're like, "Yeah, we're done. The game's done. The game's finished." And I'm like, "My God, I just spent like money on this game, and now it's like I'm done." So I think that's one of the reasons that brought me. But like you, I'm a big comic book fan. And now I've been reading comics since. I mean, this is going to date me, obviously, but I've been reading comics since I was about 5 or 6, and probably back in 1975. I want to say that I can remember back that far. So yeah, and I was so you're a comic fan, Marvel, DC, or both?
I'm primarily Marvel.
Okay,
I do like DC.
yeah,
I just never outside of the the Justice League and the big ones. I haven't really ventured much into DC. But I do enjoy the movies, even though they're not the greatest. But
yeah.
I do enjoy the DC movies. I do love Batman. I grew up. My era is the Batman animated, and
Oh, that's
I'm
such
a
a great show.
very I'm a very big fan. I have a lot of toys from Batman animated myself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we got to pour one out for Kevin Conroy, man.
hmm
He's a lot of people's Batman, no matter what. Like you look back at it, and everybody says, "Well, who's your favorite Batman?" So many people. I remember when he passed, we're putting stuff out on X saying, he's my Batman." And yeah,
hmm
that was just the animated series was just spectacular. The way they did it, it had the darkness in it a little bit. It was kind of gritty looking. The animation, that represented a lot of things. And I can remember them adapting some of the stuff from the comics at the time, which Dark Knight Returns was such a big comic book with Frank Miller. And when they
hmm
did parts of that in one of the episodes they did, I was like, wow, this is really, really cool. Yeah, that's one of the best, I think, animated shows I've ever seen.
It absolutely is. I was lucky enough to meet Kevin
Oh, no way.
at a con, and he signed a Funko Pop for me,
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, it was not too long before he passed away, actually. So
Okay.
was very fortunate, and it's an absolutely amazing show, and he is my Batman. I agree with everybody who has
Yeah.
said that. So
Yeah, that's yeah, it really is. How was he to meet? Was he a nice guy? I imagine he would be.
he was very nice. He was very
Yeah.
nice. Most people like they at cons they like charge extra to write like Batman or like to add
Yeah.
some kind of catchphrase or something, and he
Yep.
just filled up the whole box. It was just like everything for a base price, and I was like, oh, I love it. He
That's
was so
awesome.
nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's cool that you got to meet him. There's a lot of, you grow up and you have people who are like kind of your heroes, and it's always awesome.
Hmm.
I got to go to Comic Con once, about maybe 9 years ago or so in New York, which was a crazy experience. Very, very packed with people, so many people, but
Hmm.
it was cool. I was standing maybe a foot or two away from Stan Lee, and I got an autograph piece from the animated. Look it up at it. The animated Spider-Man series from the '90s that he had signed,
Hmm.
which I have framed now. So, but it's really cool. A friend of mine that went got to meet Mark Hamill. She's a big Star Wars fan. Got to meet Luke Skywalker, and gave her a
Hmm.
hug and stuff like that. It's cool. It's just a cool
The
experience
Joker.
when you get to do what's that.
The Joker.
The Joker too. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. One of the best Jokers there is too, man. And it's all voice work that he did for that. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's amazing. Yeah, it's cool though. I dig that. Now you have the miles coming behind you, so I gotta ask you, what kind of books do you read now? What kind of Marvel books are you into?
Um, Ooh, that's a good question. There, I think I only have one. Um, Currently, I think I only have one poll, uh, in Marvel, and it's the Spider Boy run.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
a lot of people like that. Yeah, okay,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. So I'm a big Spider-Man fan. So
Yep.
I like to get involved with everything that's Spider-Man. But outside of that, something is killing the children. Have you heard of that? It's not Marvel, but it is a comic book that I like. Have you
Okay.
heard of that one before?
No, what's it called?
No. Something is killing the children.
No, I haven't. That sounds interesting. I kind of like stuff like that. What is
It's
it? A
a
horror
yeah, it's a
book?
horror. It's kind of yeah, it's kind of a horror book. I've seen if I can
Nice.
find it. But it's a it follows a girl who is like a monster hunter, and only
Okay.
these kids can see it, like the monsters that are killing everybody, and
Okay.
it's a very very good book.
I'll have to
It's
check it
like
out. When did it come
50
out?
issues in, a few years ago now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're about 50 books in,
Oh,
something like
wow.
that.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's every time I turn somebody onto it, they really love reading it. So
Nice.
I would check
Yeah.
it out. It's really yeah.
I definitely will. I'm always looking for part of my weekly audio show that I do. I call it Comic Corner. So I try to talk about
Hmm.
a comic book or something that I've read. So yeah, that's awesome. I'll definitely check that out. I'm always looking for new stuff to read. Being a Spider-Man fan, have you read the new Unlimited or the Ultimate rather Spider-Man book? Oh my God, man,
No, I
it's
haven't.
you need to check it out. It is so good. Honestly, one of the best comic books I've read in a long, long time.
Really?
Yeah, they basically redid the Ultimate Universe. Like, how they had the old Ultimate Spider-Man
Hmm.
back in the day. Well, they kind of blew that all up and they remade it. But this one takes place 40 years after. So Peter is in his like 40-ish, 40 plus years old, and he's married and he has kids, and it's just and Uncle Ben's alive. How cool is that?
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah,
That
so it's
that
very
piques my interest right there.
yeah, dude, it's very good. If you get a chance to check it out, they're doing a bunch of different titles for it too. They already have an Ultimate X-Men in it and an Ultimate Black Panther as well in the series, but it is really good. Spider-Man fans like a must read. The book, I think book number 1 sold out so quickly that I think Prashan was telling me they go for a couple $100 already now if you're trying to get the first one. And it only came out a
Oh
few
wow.
months ago. Yeah. Yeah. So
Wow. Yeah, I
I
saw that
grew up.
the
Go
new
ahead. Sorry.
X-Men stuff was. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No. It's okay.
The new X-Men 97 books are going for pretty good money. And they just came out with like within the last week.
I'm
So,
sure because of the cartoon. Did you watch it? The animated
I
series?
did. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah,
It
it
was
really
so good.
was. Yeah, it really was. I'm excited for the second season. Although I don't know
Oh, I
why they
know.
fired the director. A lot of people were talking about that. They I couldn't believe they fired him. That's kind of crazy that it did so well, but who knows? Disney has
Hmm.
weird rules and all that kind of stuff. There's rumors about why. Who knows? I'm not going to speculate on it, but
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, it's a shame. It was very good, very good. And I remember the old one. I didn't. A lot of my friends went back and rewatched it because they forgot about it. But I remember the old one pretty well, and I
Hmm.
was shocked when they did that, pulling the adamantium out of Wolverine from Fatal Attractions. I was absolutely shocked. I was like, no way. I saw him stab him, and I'm like, they're not going to
Hmm.
do this. They're not going to do this on an animated show on Disney. And sure enough, and theirs was more gruesome than the comic book was.
Hmm.
So I was shocked, man. But yeah, that was so good. I think I need more of that. I want the whole universe back. I saw when you saw Spider-Man and MJ in there. I want that. Bring me some Spider-Man back. Bring me all. Give me all that. I don't care how they do it. And the cool thing is, they can use any character they want to. They don't need to worry about licensing and all that other crap. They can use anything they want to. So yeah, dude, it was so good. So good. Awesome, man. Yeah, I love it. That's the big reason why I play the game, man. I love seeing the cards. Um,
Hmm.
I love the comic book covers. The Man Thing one, the Infinity Gauntlet
Hmm.
one, the Galactus one. My favorite cards in the game because they have that little Marvel Comics group border, which I remember collecting back in the 70s and 80s. So it's a big reason why I love the game. I really do. So awesome, awesome. All right. Well, let me get into some
Do you
stuff
still
here. Snap. Go ahead.
do you still have all your comics from growing up?
I have most of them. Yes, my mom sold a bunch when I was in college. Unfortunately,
Hmm. Oh, that
uh,
happened to me too.
yeah, she went up in the attic one day and she started cleaning stuff out. And she didn't sell them. She actually gave them away. She gave them to a kid that lived down the street. Had to get handed him a big bunch of them, and I had no idea. I remember coming home from college and it was like, "Mom, like what happened to all my stuff?" And she's like, "Oh, well, there was a neighbor's kid that moved in and blah blah blah, and I gave him to him." And I'm like,
Hmm.
there were really expensive books in some of these boxes. Like, are you aware that I had like Secret Wars #1 in
Mm.
there? I had like the first appearance of the black suit Spider-Man in there.
Hmm.
I had some pretty. So I had some old late 70s Spider-Man books. The Death of Gwen Stacy, which is iconic in Spider-Man. I had that and
Hmm.
gone. Like every one of them was gone. I was like, oh my God. I think I may have had, I don't remember, but I remember the cover, but I'm pretty sure I had the first appearance of Punisher, which that book goes
Oh.
for a mint.
Hmm.
And it
Hmm.
was a Spider-Man from the late 70s that he first appeared in. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah. But what are you gonna do? We make dumb mistakes sometimes. So yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful cover. Yeah, my mom did the same to me. Eh, Pokemon cards, video game systems, and a lot of comics. I had to repurchase like my first appearance of Venom and my first appearance of Deadpool
Ugh.
and Carnage, and yeah, I also had the first appearance of the Black Suit Spidey,
Yep.
um, and yeah, I love it. I love the books. So
Yeah.
I think everybody has that those similar stories
Oh,
of
no doubt.
losing their stuff.
No doubt. I curse myself every time I realize, like, it's when we talk about card games and stuff. I was a big Magic player for a while,
Hmm.
so I was playing Magic when in the middle '90s, like after the first two sets were out. We all got into it because a buddy of mine owned a comic store, so he started getting them in his store. He's like, "Yeah, we should try this." So we all started playing, and I was collecting right after Unlimited came out, so we were still getting some of the really old and expensive cards. Well, a buddy of mine came to see me once when I was working, and he said, "Joe, did you happen to see what our cards were worth today?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, don't ever check eBay because you're gonna die." And I looked, and there's a card called a Black Lotus, one of the most rare cards that Magic ever had. I own the beta version, which is the second version that was ever released, a mint condition one. And I looked it up, and it was selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars on eBay. I'm like, oh my God. He said we would have been rich. I'm like, well, he didn't do so bad. He sold his collection off and got a house for it. He got a down payment on his home. So he did pretty well. I remember selling mine, and I got a few thousand, I guess, for them. So I mean, at the time, it wasn't that bad, I guess. But now, man, oh yeah, you have that stuff where you just were like, why did I do such a stupid thing? Me, I remember selling Star Wars figures. I had every Star Wars figure from the original set from '77 that my grandparents bought me. My parents bought me. I had the whole thing. And I remember once, again, I was 18 years old. And we were going to a trip. We were trying to go to a trip to the beach, a bus trip. And of course, you're going with friends and stuff like that. You're not thinking of stuff. And I just know I needed money. So I'm like, look up this guy who's doing an auction, and he's selling stuff at toys and stuff. So I call him up. I'm like, hey, I have all these Star Wars figures. You want to come take a look? Thinking, well, yeah, maybe here's a way to get money. The guy came up. He handed me, I think it was $75 or something at the time. And this was like early 90s. So it was a decent amount of money. And then I gave him my entire collection. Well, there's another thing I 100% regret. $75 for like the original figures that I could have gotten thousands of dollars for today. But you're right. We do stupid stuff. And I mean, at the time, you don't think about it, right? You're just like, well, I'm not going to miss this. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, until it's too late.
Crazy stuff. All right. Let me go over this with you really quickly. Of course, this is the balance update. I'm just going to ask you, like, what you've seen. Like, have you played with any of these cards since they've been changed? I've been playing Cap a little bit. I haven't been an ongoing deck. And he works pretty well. That's that ongoing list that people are playing with Spectrum and stuff for a while. That's a pretty good list. Mordo, I've tried him in Mill. He seems to be okay, but it's so weird with him because you don't know if the card's doing anything because you can't see. So you don't know what it's doing to their deck. You have no idea. Sentry, of course, is still seeming like he's getting some play, but not as much. Of course, Grandmaster, I can't stand that card, and I just don't use it. Luke Cage, he's going to be fine. He's been in Cerebro. Werewolf seems like he's pretty good. I'm guessing today when Sasquatch comes out with Bounce, he's probably going to be really good. Leech, I still see some people using him as some list leader, and of course Spectrum. But yeah, have you played with any of the card changes? And I mean, what do you think about these changes overall?
I mean, I love the Leech one. I'm a big Cannonball fan. That is like
I remember. I heard you talking to the kid Snap about him. I love the card too.
Yeah, I collect New Mutant comics. I'm a huge fan of New Mutants. So I'm a big Cannonball fan, and the Leech on 4 was kind of devastating for me. So yeah. I'm very happy about the change on Leech going back up to 5. I'm also happy about Werewolf because I do love horror. So and I love playing with the horror characters. So I'm happy that Werewolf went back down to a 3. So I've been playing. That's the only true one that I've been playing with since the balance update. Because I mean, technically, not much has changed other than numbers, right? So like Sentry is just numbers, right? Cap is like kind of a rewrite. It's ongoing cards. Grandmaster just got points, so it's just numbers. So it's not like Baron is like a new thing. So I would like to try that, but like you said, you don't know what you're doing. So it's kind of like you're like, oh man, what did I hit? So kind of takes the fun out of it.
It does.
Unlike like Spider-Ham or something when you know what you're hitting. But Werewolf was when I saw the leak of what was going to change. I was very excited about the Leech change going back to 5, and then Werewolf by Night. I've been playing some Werewolf by Night. I was trying to make him work in some packages with Sentry, and he's back to being a good card. And you are absolutely right. With Sasquatch, he's gonna fit right there.
Yeah,
at home with Sasquatch.
Yeah,
with
no
her.
doubt. No doubt. It was kind of, the change was okay. I mean, I know everybody loved the change because of the leech thing. Yes, the leech thing
Hmm.
was ridiculous. It was getting to be, obnoxious in the fact that you couldn't play any on reveal cards. I mean, I can just see now the fact that some of the decks that are coming back that I've seen in the last like 3-4 days that weren't around anymore. Mill for one. Nobody played Mill because of the on reveals. Destroy. Those decks are now all making their way back into the meta again because they just couldn't with the leech. It was just too much. And yeah, to your point, Mordo, I like to think about it like it could be a really devastating card. Imagine like if you hit their Jeff. Well, now all of a sudden they have a
Hmm.
6-cost Jeff that is never getting played. So there's
Hmm.
cards that you can completely ruin. But to your point, you don't know. You could just have gotten a 6, which just does nothing because it was a 6 anyway to begin with. So yeah, I would have liked to seen, and I know that they probably don't want to mess around with that because I know people didn't like that necessarily when Spider-Ham was revealing the card. But
Hmm.
for Mordo, I kind of think you maybe should have done the same thing where he is a sorcerer. He kind of should be able to see things, you would think, in the lore.
Hmm.
But it would have been kind of cool, I think, if you would have allowed people to see exactly what card they hit, because it could have given you a little bit of a better edge with the card. So yeah, overall, I thought they were good. It's nice. I had that Captain America. The variant with the almost looks like old style TV. He's standing on the rock there with the shield, and you could see like a fuzzy stuff in the background. Almost looks like you're watching it
Hmm.
on an old black and white TV. I inked it actually from playing with Captain
Oh
America, which
wow.
was cool. Yeah, it looks amazing. It's a very very cool variant. So okay, well now you piqued my interest because you mentioned you like horror too. Now see, we have that in common as well.
Mm.
I'm a big horror nut. My shelf behind me over here, I have a whole horror shelf with Friday 13th stuff. My biggest, I love that. That's my favorite. Michael Myers. I've got hockey masks over there. Yeah, I've got a whole thing. So, what kind of horror films do you? I'm a slasher guy, but the only thing I'm not that big on is demonic possession, and that's because I saw The Exorcist at a very young
Hmm.
age. I snuck down and
Hmm.
watched it when I was about 9, and I probably shouldn't have. And so that I'm not too much about. Yeah, what kind of horror stuff do you like?
Uh, everything.
Okay,
But like as far as like collecting wise, I'm a huge Universal Monsters fan. Um,
okay, nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
we have old comics hanging up all around our
nice.
apartment. Me and my girlfriend,
Yeah.
and we have I'm looking at a Karloff uncanny mummy poster right
Oh,
over
nice,
uh, of the computer. But yeah, huge Universal Monsters fan. I have a lot of figures, a lot of toys,
nice.
a lot of comics, old magazines from that era: Dracula, Batman, Wolfman, Mummy, and yeah, I just I love all of the old school horror
Love it.
movies, but I
Yeah.
also do love the new stuff too. We go see we have an A-list um, pass, and at AMC you can go 3 movies a week for 20
Oh
bucks a month.
wow, nice. Yeah, similar to mine.
So
I have a Cinemark one. Yeah,
okay,
nice.
Cinemark
Yeah,
has one.
they do. Yeah, they do. It's
Okay.
I pay $9 a month and I get a free ticket every single, what is it? I get free tickets every couple, I think it's every 2 weeks. I get a free ticket. I'm
Okay.
literally sitting on like 14 tickets right now.
Oh wow.
And yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yep.
So we go to see mostly all the all the new films. We go see
Nice.
the demonic ones, the
Yeah.
possession ones, like
Yeah.
but they're not my favorite because I kind of see the same things over and over.
They're very repetitive. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we just watched Sting last night, which is a spider movie.
Oh, that one with the spiders? I didn't even know that came
Hmm.
out. Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw the preview for it. I saw the preview
yeah,
for that.
it was pretty good. It was pretty good. It
Nice.
wasn't bad.
It looks creepy,
So
especially if you're not a fan of spiders, I would imagine.
oh yeah, if especially if you're not a fan of spiders, it's
Yeah.
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 They
Yeah.
did a good job with it. They did a good job with it. It's
Nice.
creepy for sure.
I want to go see In a Violent Nature. That's supposed to be coming out. I think actually it's today or Friday. It's a first person slasher movie that he looks very much like Jason. I mean, very much. They almost took the
Mhm.
story that he resurrects at the beginning of the movie, crawls out of his grave. He ends up that he's this big hulking dude. He wears a mask. I mean, it's Jason without saying it is. But yeah,
Mhm.
I'm excited to. I've been watching people's reviews on it, and they said it's very different because there's many parts in it where he's just walking, and you're just
Mhm.
watching him walk around. But it's almost like if you wondered where these slashers go when they're not killing people because you never see that.
Mhm.
It's like a glimpse at that. So I'm like, okay, I'm into that. So yeah, I want to see it. I don't know whether or not I'll get to the theater to see because it's only going to be a very limited release. But if not, I think it's going to be on Shutter. So I'll end up watching it on Shutter. But yeah, that's cool, dude. You must be excited. Look, when so I attempted to make a monster deck with Snap. I
Mhm.
wanted to just put them all in there. So I'm like, well, okay, we're gonna put werewolf. It had to be. I'm thinking to myself, it's got to be a discard deck because you got Dracula, you got Morbius, you got werewolf, you can put all of that in
Mhm.
this deck. And then, of course, I have to give him a shout out, my boy Man Thing, because I've been reading Man Thing comics since like 1974. But yeah, eventually, and maybe it'll be this Halloween, they've got to come out with the Living Mummy. They've got to come out with the Frankenstein. Like they're all Marvel comics, so they've got to bring those out. Unless for some reason they maybe lost the licenses for them. I don't know, but that would be awesome if we got the rest of them.
I 1000% agree. I would play a deck with those guys, and even if it didn't work.
Mhm. I love it. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, did you watch all those old black and white movies? I grew up on
Oh,
those. I just did you?
absolutely.
Yes.
I've seen them
Yes.
probably a dozen times each. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
We do every October we go back and do like a horror movie a night kind of thing, and then
Nice.
we always go back and do the Bela Lugosi, and the Karloff movies, and yeah,
That's cool.
absolutely, I love
Do you
them.
have a favorite horror film?
Oh,
Favorite, or is it too
you
hard to
know,
pick?
I don't know. I
If you like them all, it's going to be tough because I know it's hard to
yeah,
choose.
yeah. Let me think about that. I'm gonna get back to you on that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean like I enjoy, like I said, most of them. I am
Hmm.
I can endure all the blood, guts and gore in the gory ones. Not a fan really of like what they call torture porn. I'm not really big into that. I think that's a little over the top. But I've seen a lot of it. The slasher genre is what really got me because I saw Halloween came out in 78. I probably saw it in 1980, and that's still probably my right up there with my favorite horror films of all time. I'm a big John Carpenter fan too. So
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So that's awesome. Love it. Always love to meet a fellow horror fan. That's fantastic.
Um, I was so I like Get Out. I like it's not a natural like horror. It's a horror film, but
It's
did you?
psychological horror. Yes, it's good.
Hmm.
Yeah, good movie.
Yeah.
Yep. I've seen all
But
his. I've seen Get Out. I've seen Us. And I've seen Nope.
mhm.
Nope intrigued me because I'm a big Alien fan too. I love alien stuff and UFO stuff. The ending I didn't care for. I liked the whole movie right up to
Mhm.
the end, and the ending was silly with that bird-like wing thing that I don't
Mhm.
even know what that was. And it was like the ship turned into an alien creature, and I was like, yeah, okay, that's weird. But I liked it all the way up
Yeah.
until then. So yeah, Jordan Peele does pretty good stuff. He did Twilight Zone for a little bit on TV, which was
Mhm.
actually really good. So yeah, he does good work.
Yeah.
He
There's
does good work.
like I said though, I love everything.
Yeah. Yep. That's awesome. Yeah, I know it's hard to pick a favorite, when you have so much of that stuff that you watch, but that's cool. That's awesome that you do the Halloween thing and stuff like that. Very cool.
Mhm.
Very cool. Well, if you think of it, we'll move on here. So let's go on to the next thing, and of course, these are all our changes that we got. Captain America, Spectrum, Luke Cage. Well, you know what? Let me ask you, you're now. How long have you been on your infinite streak? How long have you been infinite for?
Every season.
Every single season since the very start.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. All right. So, being somebody who doesn't get it, so there's a couple things I want to ask you, because I watch content creators, right? We all probably do, and so when I see them play, like more recently, it was about a month ago, I guess. I was watching Binks, and he did a stream where he wanted to play right through until he hit infinite. So he started at, now you start at what, 70 every month because you're at infinite. So you start at 70.
Yep.
So he started at 70, and it took him literally 13 hours of playtime straight through to hit infinite. So is that about, because there, and the reason I'm asking is because, you know, I don't get as much time to play the game. I wish I did. I wish I got more. My time playing Snap is usually at nights when I come home from work. You know, I'll maybe sit down at like 10 o'clock or so at night, and I'll play from 10 to midnight or 1 a.m. or so in my time that I have. So but I would imagine, right? It has to be a time commitment, I would think, to do that, right? Like how, you know, and I don't even think you don't have to time yourself or anything, but how, you know, how long does it take you? Like when you start your season and you're starting at 70, you know, in the first couple of days that you play, do you play like a whole ton of hours to get there, or do you just play like whenever you can?
No, I play when I can, and it took me 8 hours total of gameplay. It took me 2 days to get to infinite this past season.
Okay.
Since the rollover, but a total of 8 hours gameplay. Um, and yeah, I believe that time is a huge um, component of making it to infinite. I
Okay.
truly believe almost everybody can make it to infinite. I really do. I know it probably doesn't feel like it to everyone who hasn't, you know, but if you had the time, I believe everybody almost could, to
Could.
be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Because of the randomness of the game, right?
Yep.
You know, it's there's so much RNG. Like, yes,
Yep.
being good, you know, can help you, or you know, or but at the same time, the it's just so random, right? So you can be so good at the game and lose because of a location. So I don't know. I think time is in knowing when to snap and when to retreat. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people don't retreat enough. Like, they stay in games they shouldn't, and
Yep.
I that is a big reason of why people don't. I have no problem losing one cube. You know, if you snap on turn 6, I have no problem losing one cube at all. I'm going to
Yep.
retreat, especially if I don't think I can win. You know, so I think time is a big component of it. I think if you put in the more hours you put in, the more likelihood that you will make it to infinite.
Yeah.
And also knowing when to snap and when to retreat.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you said 99 is where you've been, right? That's the
I hit
highest.
99. Yeah, I hit 99 once, but see, I broke the cardinal rule. This was I think, when, I can't even remember. This had to be, I was playing Galactus at the time pretty steadily, so it had to be before all the Galactus things got nerfed and everything like that. I was playing, I think it was when Galactus was 6. Wasn't it? Wasn't the original 6-2? He was, I think it was the second nerf, so I think he may have been 6-7 when I was playing. And that's what got me literally almost. I went from, I mean, I'm normally not starting very high, so I think I got from like maybe 40 or 50 all the way up to 90 something playing Galactus. So, and then I remember getting the 99, and I remember sitting there. And again, there are 2 cardinal rules I know I broke. Number one, I was playing at night. It was very late, and I was tired. That's number one. but I won it. I'm like, I got there and I'm like, all right, I'm going. Cause I got all the way up this way. Now I'm getting, so, and of course what happened is I lost and I lost the 2-cuber. And then I'm like, nope, I'm not settling for this. I'm getting to this stupid thing tonight. And I'm just going to, and then I played again and I lost the 4-cuber. And then I played again. By the time I was done, because I could, at that point, then I got mad and I'm like, I'm not stopping now. This is ridiculous. I got all the way up here. I am not going to bed until I went back all the way down to 82 before I stopped playing. So I broke all the cardinal rules. And I know I wasn't playing well. I know I probably wasn't paying much attention to whether or not I could stay in the game, whether or not I should or not. Snap in that respect is very weird because we're conditioned as human beings when we play things to want to win. To have to settle for a loss, regardless of how minuscule it is, even if it's a 1-cube loss, you still in your brain are thinking, I'm losing this game and I don't like it. And so I think that's what happens. You almost have to recondition yourself with Snap to play differently than you've ever played other games before. Because in other games, it's either you win, you lose. There's not a little in between where you're saying, yeah, I lost, but I walked away only losing 1, so I'm good. So I think that's a big thing with this. Like as a person maybe coming in to play it new, or as somebody that is playing that's struggling with it, a lot of that is true. Like what you said, I know Lambie has said the same similar things that you have. And that it's very psychological. And you really just have to know if you're looking at that board and you're like, man, I know, look, like for me, I have Galactus, right? I know I have him. If I draw him, I win because they filled their 1 lane. I know I win the game. So at that point, I'm staying in, even though there's 4 cards left in my deck. He's a 1-in-4 shot. So I'm like, I'm staying in. I'm gonna get it. I'm staying, and of course, then you don't draw it and you lose. And those are the times where you're like, you're in it for 4, you're in it for 8, and then you lose because you make a dumb decision. So yeah, that was where I was at, and I've gotten to the 90s a few times after that, but now I'm like, I ended up now I go, and this may sound silly, but I play a lot more Conquest now, and you know why? Because there's no stress. You have no stress playing Conquest because who cares? Like there's no stakes. So if you lose, you lose. And then you just go and start over again. You know, there's no stakes to it. Like ladder, you're not losing your position. You're going and playing the silver, gold, whatever. Yeah, okay, if I lose, big deal. I just start over at the bottom and go back up the ladder. It doesn't bother me one bit because I'm not losing my rank. So that's the psychology of it behind me. I still have a lot to learn. But it's just it's a funny game that way, man. It really is.
Yeah. It's definitely, I'm trying to think of, sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. What's the highest rank you got? Were you like high infinite?
No, I always stopped.
Okay. So you get the ladder and just stop when you're there.
Well, I mean, I would continue to play, but I would play stuff that I would want to play, like I wanted to play.
Right.
You know?
So you didn't care about the rank much. You just got,
I didn't. And and then when they changed it, I started to care more, you know, where you had the leaderboard, right?
Yeah.
But at the beginning there was absolutely no point in continuing up.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you.
Not even a little bit. And to be honest, there's no point in continuing now with the leaderboard. There's no rewards.
Yeah.
And it resets every month. And so it's just a personal, I guess, personal thing for people.
Yeah. Yeah, some people just like that title and stuff like that they could say, "Oh, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here." Yeah, I never went for any of that. I played other games that had leaderboards and stuff before, and I didn't care about it. It's like, I
was a big NBA 2K player, and that was the only game that I've ever played where I've been like ranked in something. And then this is the second game, which is pretty surprising because, like I said, I never came from a card background.
Yeah,
I just picked it up and I just loved it, and I just continued to play it. And also, what I wanted to say earlier
Mhm.
was when you were talking about the psychological of losing.
Mhm.
If you lose one cube, you're winning. I really want people to understand that if losing one cube is a win. If somebody snaps on turn 6, don't you don't have to stay in that game. It's not a win. You win it losing the one cube. So a lot of people make that mistake, and
Yeah.
I'm a big. Uh, I just absolutely one cube losses are wins.
Yeah.
I really want to hammer that home to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great point because it's it's almost like oh my gosh. I go back to a lot of times, a lot of stuff I associate with music. I go back to a song that Bruce Springsteen sang called One Step Up and Two Steps Back. It's very similar
Hmm.
for this game because that's what you're going to do. You're going to go down, then you're going to like, you'll lose a 1, like you were saying, then you'll hit a 4. So you go up a little bit, then you'll lose a 1,
Hmm.
then you'll hit an 8, then you'll lose but that's how the best people play. So people like yourself that get to infinite, that is the best way to play. You want to take the 1 cube losses. You don't want to take the 4 or the 8s. And
Hmm.
that's how you scale. Which is, like I said, it's just very this whole system of snapping and stuff like that. It's very unique to this game. You don't see it in very much else or anything similar to this. Because, like I said, it's always, especially mobile games, all of them where you have a win condition, or you either win or you lose. There is no in between. But with this, it's the whole cube system where you be safe and you lose the 1, like you were saying. So I'm seeing a lot more people, at least from my end of it, that aren't. A lot of them now they're boomer snapping. Many of them are waiting until turn 5. I've noticed that a lot lately. I don't know why that is. I don't know if maybe they're just more unsure now with the decks
Hmm.
or the cards, and people just can't predict things, so they don't know whether to snap on you or not. A lot of them are waiting until turn 5. And like you said, if you're not in a good place where you don't feel comfortable snapping, and then all of a sudden someone snaps you on turn 5, get out, because
Hmm.
they got their card. Like a Hella player. If a Hella player
Hmm.
snaps you on turn 5, they have Hella. It's that simple. So
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah.
100%.
Great
Yeah,
points.
especially yeah, when people are snapping that late in a game, you know they drew.
Yep.
Like and if you stay into that, especially if they snap on turn 6,
Yep.
and that's you know they drew Hella, you know they drew anything that they need. They're Odin on top of Wong,
Yep.
like I agree.
Yep. Yeah, it's a really crazy game, but that's what makes it what it is.
Hmm.
It's very different from a lot of other things, and that's what makes us enjoy the game like we do. So, yeah, no, I love that. It's people can't really get tips from me for for getting to infinite because I don't I don't have that kind of I don't have the
Hmm.
clout in order to tell them that. So yeah, no, I love it. I'm sure a lot of my listeners will appreciate that. But yeah, if I one of the things I really and you mentioned it, I don't like the penalty that you get and bouncing all back to those other levels. I get it why they do it, but I think if you hit infinite, I think you should stay there. I don't think you should get
Hmm.
penalized and be bounced back all the way down to 70. I think that's kind of silly. If you don't get
Hmm.
it and you hit 90 something, then yes, you move backwards. That should be how it is. But the reward for people for doing it, and I get it, well, then what's the point, right? If you're there and then you don't go backwards anywhere, there's no point in you playing almost really for it anymore, especially if you're like a player like yourself that doesn't care about rank. But
Hmm.
who knows? I don't know. Maybe they could design it someday where they'll give something for it. You'll get some sort of rewards for it or something down the road. But I don't know. What do you think about? I'm sure you probably saw this. What do you think about these leagues and these alliances things that they're testing and that are supposedly coming up? We might get them as soon as next Tuesday because we got a big patch coming to the game. Um, Leagues, I know, very pay to win. You're gonna be paying to win it. It's something you do like daily missions, but the people who are gonna pay are gonna be the ones that are gonna win that, which kind of sucks. And a lot of people were pissed about. Alliances seems kind of fun, I guess. I used to play a lot of World of Warcraft, and it's very similar to guilds. So you get in guilds with people and stuff like that. I would like it if they had communication. Like if somehow you can send like little notes and stuff to each other through there, I think that would be kind of cool. Especially since you can't communicate with anybody in the game except for stupid emotes, which are ridiculous. But yeah, like what are your thoughts on leagues and alliances?
I was kind of excited. My girlfriend plays the game.
Yeah, nice.
And she's a big discard fan, by the way.
I like this. I never used to play that deck, but I like it now.
Yeah, she only plays discard. She will not play anything else.
That's cool.
She likes collecting the variants and
Nice.
playing discard. So I was excited for that because I would like to do something with her involved in the game other than like a friendly battle.
Yeah.
But then I start seeing you buy boosters to get more points so you can finish in first place, and it really just kind of turned me off of it because if it's an open competition for everybody, it should be like ladder, right? Like I don't consider Marvel Snap pay to win because I think you can win with any deck, right? Yeah. But this is strictly pay to win, and I'm just not a fan of it at all. I like the idea of it. I like being community and being with your friends and being able to play these things. But I don't like the pay to win aspect of it, and I really do have a big issue with that. How do you feel about it?
I'm the same way. I don't really think I'm going to have any interest in it. I know you're just going to get put in one. They're just going to put you in it, and you can just do it.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm the same way. I'm first of all, gold is too high premium now. You don't get a whole lot of it. There's no way I'm spending gold to win one of those. There's no way.
No.
It's not worth it. What are you winning at the most? A premium or no? You're winning a key. You're winning a key for the thing. Yeah, no, for a cash key. Like, no, I'm not doing that. The alliances thing, like I said, has me a little more intrigued. If it's done the right way, that could be fun because you could play with a bunch of people that and start like a league and stuff like that. It'll be good for content creators, although it's going to be tough for them to pick and choose who they want to be in their league, especially if it's a limited amount. If it's only 25 people, how the hell are you going to choose? Like, imagine you're cozy and you have to choose 25 people to put in your league. It's like, forget that. That's not going to happen. So let me ask you this, right? So we saw on the roadmap that they're saying new game modes, right? I know a lot of people are a little nervous, hoping that this isn't what they meant by new game modes, that it's not this league and it's not this alliances and that's it. What, as a Marvel Snap player, would you like to see from this game? What would you like to see them do next? Like, would you like to see like a draft mode? Where you get random cards and stuff like that, which technically we're getting Arishem next month, which is kind of like that. But like, what would you like to see them do that you would really like to see in the game?
That's a very good question. Honestly, don't put too much thought into it. It's hard because I don't come from a card background. So
right.
So I don't really know what goes into a lot of card games to kind of want. I did want like something like the Alliance where you could have a group and play with your friends.
Well, there you go. Nice.
I think
okay.
I think we need more ways to communicate in the game. I mean, emotes are fine, but I often tweet out. I ask, "Hey, I just got this emote. What does this convey to you?" And most of the answers are always, "Oh, this is negative. Like
Nasty.
This is worse than Miss Marvel, right?" So it's like, "Oh man, it's Gambit with hearts around him. I thought I was conveying love." Like,
right?
Like, and they're like, no, that's worse than Miss Marvel. Like, I'm
Oh,
like, okay,
brother.
so it's I don't it's I think we need a better way to be able to communicate in the game.
Agreed.
Um, uh,
Yeah.
that is something that I really want from the game. But as far as game modes, a draft mode would be fun. Um, as far as game modes, I don't know. I really can't answer that
Yeah.
for
Yeah. I
you, and
think
I
we're
apologize for that. But
No, no, don't apologize. It's all good. Yeah, if you don't come from that sort of background, I mean, like I said, I have background in Magic, but even when we played Magic, there really wasn't like now. Magic has Arena, they have like all these different types of game, and I never really got into that. I was just strictly playing the game to play the game. The thing is, one of the things that I miss, and I've noticed this about digital card games is the camaraderie of going to a game store with a bunch of friends and sitting across the table from that other player and playing them like that. Because many times I'd go to tournaments and I've won a few, but there were times when I would lose, and sometimes you lose early. It's just the way it goes. And then you're kind of sitting there and you're waiting for your buddies to finish out their whole day. So a lot of times you're there for 6, 7 hours. Well, you have nothing to do but walk around and meet people. And you're like, yeah, you take your cards with you in a binder and you're like, oh, hey, what kind of cards do you have? Let me see if we could trade some stuff and blah, blah, blah. And that's what you do. And I think a lot of that stuff, I kind of miss that with games like this, because like you, to your point, you don't get to communicate. There's no way to communicate with the other player. Now I get why they'd be a little sketchy on that, because people can be toxic. There are bad people
mhm.
out there that are just going to do that. But now I will say, the snap judgments league that's been going on over there, I love that, because I get to talk to people when we're done. Normally with the game, I'll sit down and I'll chat with people for sometimes half hour. I've chatted with people for 45 minutes to an hour on Twitch, or
Mhm.
and I think that's fantastic. You get to know people, you get to find out what they're interested in. Some of them have been guests on my show, which is amazing. But I like that. So I like your point. I wish they could do something, and maybe that's what the alliances will have. Maybe it'll have some sort of chat feature where you can talk between other people somehow. I think that would be a phenomenal thing. I think it makes it a little more personable, and not just seeing, like you were saying. You never know. I've done the same thing you did with the emotes. I got the emote of, I think is it Miss Marvel, when she shrugs her shoulders, when she has her hands up in the air and shrugs her shoulders. I don't remember
Captain
who it is.
Captain Marvel,
Captain Marvel. Yeah,
Brie
yeah.
Larson.
I've done that one. And I'm like, and then people have said to
Mhm.
me, "Oh no, that's a bad one. You're making people, it's like if people are stupid."
Mhm.
I'm like, "Oh my god, like dude, that's just like silly." Like it was,
They're all
now
bad.
yeah, it's like there are some of them that are like, I want the Galactus one, by the way. It says Neil. Thing. I'm
Mhm.
like,
Oh
I
yeah,
need,
I know. I
I
just saw
need, I
that.
need
Yeah.
that, I need that one. But I have the Ms. Minutes one. I like that one
Mhm.
because if people are just roping you and they're just sitting there taking their leisurely time, I just put that up there because I'm like, all right, come on, what are you doing?
Yeah, me
But
too. I play fast. I play fast.
I do too.
And
Yeah, I do too.
I just I have a hard time. I bought the Miss Minutes one solely
Hmm.
because I'm like,
Me too.
yo, let's speed it up.
Yep.
That is one thing I want in the card game. I want a card that can force the game to speed up. Um,
Ooh.
like that's its ability, is that it makes the game go by faster.
There has to
Um,
be a person in Marvel that can manipulate time. I'm just not remembering anyone right off the top of my head. I Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, I'd be down with that. Yeah, because I'm
mhm,
the same thing as you. I don't waste any time. I already have my play a couple seconds ahead of time, like before it even
mhm,
expires. I'm looking at the board and I know what I'm playing next. So I don't really understand why people sit there for so long, other than to try to aggravate you. Because it's like, come on, man, you only have so many cards in your hand, and a lot of them, staring at you. I get it. Maybe a last turn play or something. You might want to look at the board a lot longer just to see, okay, if I do this, I can
mhm,
win. If I do this, I can't. But if you have a win condition, I mean, you just win. Just play. Like
mhm.
you win. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I
I
agree.
agree.
Yeah.
I love the miss minutes one. I think that's phenomenal. Well,
Oh
all
yeah,
right.
so good.
Yeah, it is. I really love it. So, Let's talk about today's card, right? So in just
Hmm.
well, we have it already.
It
It's
comes
out
out
now.
now. Yeah.
It is out
Hmm.
now.
Hmm.
So as I like to call it on my show, breaking news: Sasquatch is out. He is. Oh, and I love this. People who don't know comics, and there have been people commenting on this enough where the devs had to answer it.
Hmm.
This version is not the actual Sasquatch in Marvel. I don't know if a lot of people don't maybe know that, but it is not. The Sasquatch of Marvel he's brown.
Hmm.
This version is a female. With I think her name is Heather, but she is a female. So a lot of people were asking, why didn't you label this as it's Heather? They're not going to put Heather in the title. I mean,
Hmm.
it's not. She was the one who assumed the identity and joined the Exiles. So of course that's why she's in it, because it's the Exiles.
Hmm.
But a lot of people don't really realize that. But in any case, this card is a 6/10, costs one less for each card you've played this turn. This card is going to be very disgusting in decks with Mysterio, Bishop,
Hmm.
Squirrel Girl, any deck like that, and most likely you're going to see this a lot in Bounce because of that. I am not a fan of Bounce. I don't like the archetype. I think there are several decks in this game. I call them big brain decks. Bounce is one of them. Bounce, move for sure. I stay away from them because my brain hurts when I play them, trying to figure out exactly where to put my cards. So,
Hmm.
so yeah. But what do you think of Sasquatch, man? This is just gonna be. He's gonna be. I'll tell you what he may bring back too is he might bring Thanos back. Thanos has been absent, but I saw he was played in a few tournaments on Lambie's Open that he just had. This card may very well bring that back too, because you're playing the Stones, and they're gonna make that pretty cheap as well. I mean, yeah, I don't know
Hmm.
what are you thinking of Sasquatch? Are you getting the card?
Well, I get every card.
Me
Um,
too. Are you
so
collection
yeah,
complete?
I am.
Me
I
too.
am.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, Heather McDaniel, by the way,
Yeah.
is her name.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, she's I'm absolutely getting this card. I think it's going to end up being the best card from this season.
Yeah. A lot
Um,
of people said that.
I think when I did the last podcast, we Sage had just came out, and I had only played a few games with her, and I said she
Yep.
was a good card. I thought she was a good card, but if you have limited resources, I thought this was going to be the card to save for. I mean, Mysterio on 2, right, or 3, whatever, wherever you
Yep.
want to play Mysterio, but you could play Mysterio on 2 and play this on 3, correct? I mean, because
You can.
Mysterio plays 3 cards, so that
Yep.
drops it down to a 310.
Yep. Play it on your second turn or your
Yeah,
third
I
turn.
mean
Sorry, third turn.
that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's incredible.
It's
I
kind of
mean,
gross.
yeah, it is gross. You're going to see a lot of Mobius, right?
Mobius is gonna, if you're not, and I've said that.
Mhm.
I was recording my audio podcast earlier, and I mentioned that if you're not playing this, and if you're not getting it, let's say you just don't have the funds to do it, or you don't
Mhm.
have the if you're not playing this, you better have Mobius in your deck. Plain and simple.
Absolutely, you have to, you
Yep.
have to, you have
Yep.
to, and it because it kind of falls in line with like Loki, right? Like if when Loki was running rampant, like if you're not playing Loki, you have to have Mobius
Yep.
in your deck.
Yep. No
But
doubt.
yeah, I think it's going to be anytime you get a card that has cost reduction,
Yep.
it's turns out to be pretty good. And now you have a big powered one um,
Yep.
that you could play on, as early as 3, and then you could bounce it back and get it and keep play. It's I'm excited to play it with Sage, to be honest, in bounce.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Um, to see. I can't quite. I don't know. Do you know if Squirrel Girl does work with this? Does Squirrel Girl count as cards played, or does she count as one card played?
Cards you played last. Oh, yeah, that's true. Squirrel Girl may not.
Yeah,
Yeah, because that's just tokens. So yeah, no, yeah, you're probably right. It wouldn't work with Squirrel Girl.
yeah.
Mysterio, it does because they count as their clones. so they count as cards.
100%.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's true. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
But yeah, it's regardless. It's still a phenomenal card.
yeah, 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 yeah. You might.
I'm very very excited to play with it.
Yeah, yeah. Now, so you said, you're gonna try it with? There was a deck going around. I'm trying to think what it was. Oh, who made it? I don't remember. It might have been KM Best. He had a deck with Mysterio,
Mhm.
Debris, which, and then he had, of course, Mockingbird in there.
Mhm.
Um, so I mean, could you imagine that? Right? You're playing. You got a little bit of clog in there. You're getting the Mysterio clones out. You're going to get a cheap Mockingbird. You're going to basically get a 9 and a 10 on the cheap, like next to costing next to nothing. The only thing you got to worry about with this, and I wonder if people that are going to play this are going to have Kyera in their decks, because if you
Mhm.
don't, it's going to be Shang bait. That's the only thing. Is Shang kind of disappeared for a while, especially when Leech came around. But Shang is now back. I can attest to that because I've been playing some bigger deck with bigger cards in it. So you have to kind of worry about. Although if you're playing bounce, not so much. You can make sure you lose priority, and then just
Mhm.
bounce the cards back up to your hand, and then you don't play them until the very last turn.
Yeah. Have you played much Black Swan?
When it first came out, I was playing it in a Thanos Zoo list. I was playing it in I can't remember. I think I played it in two different decks. So I didn't play. It's not it's of that season. That's probably the card I played the least amount of, to be honest. But I have played it a
Okay.
little bit.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to make it work there with Hit Monkey, and I'm a big fan of playing Hit Monkey, and
Yep.
it kind of stinks that it kind of got hard to play.
Yep.
And there was just so much power, but I
Yep.
think this is going to really help it. Um, it was hard because you couldn't really put down big power outside of playing Hit Monkey at the end.
Yep.
But having Sasquatch being able down on 3 or something, I'm so excited to play it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Speaking. I mean, we talked about horror stuff a little bit before.
Hmm.
Sasquatch is a horror character. They had many movies. I remember I had to go and look it up because I think my father took me to one that was entitled Sasquatch. I think it came out in like the early 70s, 75, 76. But I loved all that conspiracy stuff. I love the UFO stuff. I love the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch stuff. I dug all that. So yeah, technically kind of another. He's kind of another horror character. He's basically kind of what they call the abominable snowman. There was a difference between
Hmm.
Bigfoot and the abominable snowman. They were two different things. Although who knows? Maybe Bigfoot took a vacation and went north. It just got covered in snow,
Right?
and it was the same. I don't know.
Exactly.
But yeah,
Exactly.
this
Yeah.
is definitely going to be a fun card. You're definitely going to see it around today. I have no doubt of that. If you are now, obviously, the caches today are pretty solid. Let's see. You get. I'm looking it up now. You get Ravona, and you get Havoc.
Hmm.
Now, Havoc's been making a little bit of a comeback. He's in Safety Blade's deck, which actually you put down a Havoc on like turn 5, turn 4, turn 5. He's
Hmm.
pretty good. He can get some pretty good points for you. And if you're playing the right kind of deck, like if you have Hope Summers or something, you're getting extra energy. It's pretty good play. And then also Ravona. Ravona is just a necessity for if you're going to play cards that are 3 or less. She's great in goblin decks and stuff like that. So yeah. So if you're going for this, I would say, if you don't have Ravona, it's pretty good, maybe a pretty good way to pull it. But yeah, as you were saying, Sasquatch, I would say definitely try to get it, whether you have the tokens you want to spend on it or whether you're going to open caches for it. But I would definitely tell people to go and get it because you're right. I think it's just a really good card.
I mean, even at 510, it's not bad value.
No, it's not.
So, I mean, you play something on 4, play it on 5, and then you have you have your 6 turn. Like you could literally play it in Thanos and you just play big cards,
Yeah.
right? Or like you
Yeah.
don't even have to play all the stones.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't see how this card's not going to be very good.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
There,
I agree. I agree. I wonder if he'd be one of those that'll come out and everybody that will, goes up in arms about it and say they want it nerfed
Oh, for
because
sure.
it's, yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
for sure. Everybody
Yeah.
wants everything nerfed all the time. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yep. I agree. Most of the time it's just cards they
people
can't
don't.
figure out how to beat.
Yeah, people don't like to lose, and if you
Yeah.
lose to something, it's bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I and that's one thing with this game is like I like obviously I don't like to lose, right? But I can stomach it because I know that I'm not going to win every game. Like you
Right.
have to get that mindset. You're not going to win every game.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
going to, and you probably maybe win 50%,
Yeah.
60%. Like so,
Very true.
but yeah, Sasquatch, great card. And
Yeah.
Ravona, great card. Most of the ones that what else is in
Havoc.
the slot?
Havoc's the other one. Havoc's
Oh,
the other
Havoc,
one.
right? Yeah, Havoc is yeah. I've been playing Havoc in some lockdown.
Yep.
I mean, anything that can gain 4 power is also a good card.
Yep.
Losing the energy, but playing with hope, like you said, fantastic. It's a fantastic card, and we're playing with hope.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's
And
hard to believe
Ravona
this.
discounts.
Oh yeah, Ravona's great. Like a Ravona, Ravona's a necessity for if you're playing like Iron Man, yeah, if you're playing Tribunal, if you're playing negative stuff with the goblins, she's a necessity in those decks, and a very good card. So yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like the months just fly by, and we're already at the end of this month. And then yeah, I'll go over these with you real quick too. Obviously, this is what we got coming up. This, of course, is going to be the next season. This is the Eternals. What did you now you said you're a Marvel movie fan. Did you like the Eternals movie? Did you see it?
I did like it.
Okay.
And I think people are coming to round to it as well.
Yep.
I think it got hated on very much so at the beginning.
Yeah.
But I think people are, maybe seeing it on Disney Plus and are like, you know what, this wasn't a bad movie.
Yep.
Like maybe it's not like the best Marvel film, but I'm glad to see that people are coming around to it. I've been seeing a lot more people defending it and saying, hey, wait a second, this movie's not bad. Why did you guys tell everybody it was the worst thing ever?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's
Yeah.
you know what I think happened is it came out at a very bad time. This was the
Mhm.
movie that came out around COVID time. And that's
Mhm.
just I mean, nobody was in any kind of a mood to really enjoy anything at that point. So it just had bad timing. But no, I liked it. I've read the source material. So the source material from Eternals is pretty old.
Mhm.
It came out in it's Jack Kirby stuff. So it came out in 60s, I think. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was easy to follow along with. I thought it was, I know a lot of people say, well, it's too confusing. I think it's because people just got so used to the big personalities in Marvel, right? You had Robert Downey Jr., you had Chris Evans, and I said when that all ended, when Endgame ended, I said it was going to be difficult for Marvel because losing two actors like that, very, very popular actors, is going to be tough. And now you're going to have to press forward with different things where you're going to have to sell things to different people. But that said, I'm a huge Guardians of the Galaxy fan, and I'll be honest, I never read the books, but I saw
Mhm.
the films and I loved them. And now I love the characters. I never knew who they were. When I went to the first movie, I'm like, okay, this looks cool. I'm going to go, obviously go see it because I see them all. But man, I didn't realize I was going to enjoy that movie that much. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, this was good. In fact, it was on, it's on cable TV now. So I actually watched it the other night. I had it on. So yeah, I don't know. People kind of bash it, but like I said, I think it came out during a bad time for everybody. And, if it would have released at a different time, I think it would have gotten a little bit better reception. But in any case, we have this, and we'll run through these cards real quick. So the season pass is Gilgamesh. He was changed. He's now a 5/7. He's an on reveal +1 power for each of your other cards in play with increased power. I don't know, man. I think this is a pretty easy one to achieve, right? With increased power, I think you can get him up. You can get him up probably pretty high with the cards out there that can do that.
Yeah, there's a million ways to do that, right?
Mhm.
Nova and like Surfer,
Yep.
Forge, Nakia.
Yep.
I
Okoye,
mean, yeah,
tons.
we can go on forever, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a pretty decent card.
Yep. Yep.
Which one are you most excited for out of the?
Well, I mean that's an easy one because I want to play this. I am so excited for this Arshem card just
Mm,
because I think it's going to be completely goofy.
hmm
I like stuff that just gives you now people. And we were talking earlier about a draft mode. This is as close as you're
hmm
going to get to a draft mode in Marvel Snap. That's exactly what this
hmm
is. You're going to get a handful of random cards 12 random cards and you're just going to play. I think content creators are going to love this because they could go on their stream and say, "Hey, we're just going to play Arashim today. And we're just going to see how
hmm
far we can climb with Arashim." But is this a card you're going to hit infinite with? You have to be a really good player and hope you can make
hmm
the best out of your deck in order to do it. That's like I think why they made this the last card of the month too, by the way. Um, but I just love this because it's different. It's a 7 card,
hmm
which we only have one other one, and that's Death that goes over that.
hmm
And I just think this is cool. I mean, you're going to see opponents playing Darkhawk. Their Darkhawk's going to get up to like 50 because you have a
Oh,
handful
it's
of
going to be
cards.
so big. Yeah.
I mean, I just think this is going to be a fun time. It's certainly not the best card of them all, but I don't know. This is exciting to me just because they're bringing something different into the game. It's something new. Probably the first card that did that since High Evo. That just
hmm
had it made its own little game, right?
hmm
Its own little deck. I think anyway, could be wrong, but yeah, but I don't know. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this RSM card. And
Yeah,
then
it's going to be so much fun.
yeah, I agree. I mean, there are much better cards. Like for instance, let's see here. We have obviously that's Gilgamesh there. Thane's a 2/1 after each turn. You get a +3 power if you played exactly 2 cards.
hmm
So I mean that's not hard to do that either, right? We're talking about getting Sasquatch out early. Not hard to play 2 cards out. So this one could scale as well, pretty well. So I don't know which one are you liking? Which one has you excited for the month?
I'm very excited for Athena. But I think the one I'm most excited for is Fastos. I
Faster,
think,
okay.
yep. Give each card in your deck -1 cost or +2 power.
Yep.
And I don't know, sounds fun.
That
And
kind of
I
sounds
like
almost
it.
broken, doesn't it?
It does. It also does sound broken.
Is it?
It does, yeah. Um, so I'm excited to try that one. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. For its
at
cost,
these
I
games,
mean, that's pretty good.
yeah, 3.
That's pretty
It seems
good.
like a lot of power, a lot of cost reduction
Yep.
for 3. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
good. It's kind of a little bit in a way like Pixie, right? Because you're not going to know what's going to get what. So there's a little bit of RNG going on there, but none of those things is bad. Like Pixie can screw
Exactly.
you. Like
hmm
Pixie can make your deck kind of a nightmare if it doesn't hit the right thing. But his options here, none of them are bad. You're either going to get
Yeah,
something cheaper, or you're going to get an addition to the power, one way or the other. So
yeah.
there's no bad
Nothing.
choice.
Like Pixie, you can end up having a 6 cost Jeff, right?
Yes.
Like
Yep.
but with yeah, no, my -1 or +2 on every card. It sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I was saying that, and then we have Makari. Makari reminds. She's kind of like an M'Baku, right? After the
Yeah,
turn runs from your
or
hand
Angel.
into the random location. Although she's better stats than M'Baku, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I've been reading that there's people kind of banging on this month here because of the fact that they weren't big fans of Eternals. I had said that Now, no matter what, most Marvel players are going to buy the season pass. It's just the best value that you can get for your money. So most of the time, they're going to at the very least get the season pass. Some don't, but I think for the most part, they're going to get it. But I think the problem is here a little bit. I think with them that I was saying that it could be a little bit of a harder sell is because in July you're getting the Deadpool season, which is going to coincide with the movie, which is very smart marketing. I mean, you have to do that, right? When a Marvel movie comes out, you have to have. So people are going to be looking forward to that one big time, just simply because so many people are going to go see the film. But like you said, to your point earlier, there are a lot of people out there who just don't like this movie for whatever reasons that they have. And I don't even know if necessarily they paid attention to it or watched it all the way through. But it could be a little bit of a harder sell in the fact that you've got Deadpool coming up. And now this month is kind of a, they're characters that people may not know that well and may not have enjoyed the film, which would maybe stop people from necessarily being like, all right, I don't really care about this so much now. Not collection complete people like you and myself. I mean, we're just going to get all the cards no matter what. But I think it may be a little bit of a hard sell for people, especially for those who may not have liked the movie all that much. But we'll see.
Without a doubt.
We'll see. We shall see.
But there's definitely really good cards in here. So I wouldn't skip some of them because of character, or not liking or not knowing the character.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. Some people play this game and don't ever even look at the cards. It's just like, what does the card do? That's it. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care who's on the cover of the card. It's just, what's it going to do for my deck? So yeah,
100%,
yeah, no doubt. I mean, I was caught up in that thing too when I used to play Magic. I liked the artwork, but I didn't really care. Like if the card helped my deck, that's all I was concerned about. I didn't care about whether the card looked cool or not. So yeah, it's very cool, man. I mean, it's just a fun game overall. I just enjoy playing it. I enjoy, just everything about it, and hopefully, I hope it lasts. I hope it has a good future. I know a lot of mobile games can be a little bit scary because look, they just, a lot of them just don't have a very good track record. They don't stick around for a very long time, many of them. And so so I hope that they continue to improve it and continue to move forward with things in it and to keep players playing. So
that peaks down. Now I have a question for you. You played more mobile games before this, like mobile card games and stuff?
I did. There was well, obviously I play Magic Mobile. There were a few. There was a Star Wars game that I played, which was a card game. There was a Star Trek game I played, which was a card game. But they're all like very wonky type things. Like they didn't have, you earn the cards by doing missions and stuff like that. So everybody got the same cards. You'd go on this kind of like a track where you do these couple of things with the stuff, and then you'd get another card, and then you'd go, and then you get. So it was very linear, and everybody, like I said, there wasn't variety like this where you were getting different things. So it's similar, like the track, to the way they started out with this, but it just wasn't as good, which that's probably why they didn't last very long. So, but yeah, mostly mobile games I play, like, well, right now, other than this, I play Monopoly, but that's only because my people in work played it. So, and that's just a time waster more than likely. But yeah, so Magic was the biggest one. I played mobile Magic when I stopped playing regular Magic, when we weren't going to tournaments anymore because the places that we had them in just weren't there anymore. So a lot of us just reverted over to playing Magic the Gathering online, which it is okay, but it does cost a lot of money. Magic was very, very, very expensive. Even the online one, if you wanted to keep up, you had to purchase sets. And so you had to buy packs, and it is, you wanted to get a whole set, you're spending a couple $100 to buy all the cards. So is it what? Sorry.
Is Magic still around?
Oh yeah.
Game?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm concerned. I didn't really think about Marvel Snap ever going away.
I
But
don't know that it'll happen because they've got a really good IP behind them. I think that they just
hmm
have to be careful not to fall into traps that a lot of the other games have fallen into over the course of time. And what it comes down to is, and I think this is why people were getting a little bit frustrated for the last few months, is because everything that seemed to be coming out from them was something that was making you buy. So remember when the
hmm
collectible borders came out? And they were saying, all right, here's these cool collectible borders. Until then, you figured out you had to spend gold to get one, and you couldn't get them forever. Like you'd buy the one border, but it was only for the one card instead of your whole entire set of cards, which I think it should have been. But if they fall into that money trap where it's just like money and money and money and money and money, that's when they usually end up declining because people are just like, I can't afford all this stuff. It's like I just, I just can't. I want to be competitive. And the good thing is, though, is like I said, they have that season pass, and the season pass is the best bang for your dollar. You're going to get all the cards that come out in the, you're going to get the season pass card. You're going to get the whole track of stuff like that. You're going to get some gold and everything along the way. And then people can decide whether or not they want to use tokens or whatever for the cards. You don't literally have to buy every card to be competitive, which is good. There are some cards that really aren't good. So I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Marvel, the IP itself, though, is expensive, I'd imagine. They have to pay a lot of
hmm
money for that IP. There's no doubt. I mean, that's a big name to be using. So, yeah, I think it'll be okay. They just have to be careful, I think, of their choices. That's why a lot of these other ones, like I told you about that stupid Battle Lines game that I played early in the show, the reason that folded is because they wanted way too much money for what they were selling. They were just trying to, that I think was just a money grab. They were just trying to grab as much money as they can, knowing full well that game probably wasn't going to last. So, yeah, yeah, I think it'll be
Yeah,
okay.
I think the game. Yeah, no, I think the game is at a healthy place.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do
I do
think
too.
I think they are sometimes putting out too much money stuff, and I think they have some more things that are coming, especially on the like on the web shop,
Mm-hmm.
um, that are a lot of gotcha kind of stuff. Uh, but but you can play the game for free, and you can win in the game for free.
Mm-hmm.
So I, I really hope people don't know that they have to spend money on this game to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some little tweaks I think that they can do. I think the people who are playing like early game, it's a little rough when you get to Series 3. Make that maybe a little easier. And hey, if they want to put pay things up there, people had made suggestions on my show. Give them a bundle. Give people a $10 bundle. Like, let's say they want to
Mhm.
play a destroy deck early, right? Give them a $10 bundle where you give them most of the good destroy cards. Let them pay 10
Yeah.
bucks and get the deck. And then there you go. Then you got a destroy deck you could play all the way through, Series 3, and you don't have to be stuck waiting to see. Like for me, that was, I liked opening the packs. I thought that was a lot of fun. But when you get to a certain level and you're playing against other people that have like a straight Wong deck and they're just clobbering you because they have every card for that deck, and there's no way you can
hmm
compete because you just don't have the cards. So
hmm
this way people can pay 10, 15 bucks. They can have a deck, and then there you go. You're good to go. And now you can make your way through Series 3 and you can be competitive. It's just some little ideas, I think, like that. That, and the other thing is, I think it was, who's the creator? I think his name was TLSG. I like him. It seems like a cool dude. He played for a long time and then he left for a good while. He was gone from the game for about 5-6 months. Now he's come back. But one of the things he's finding is he can't get any of the cards because now they were in the spotlight caches. Well, they're gone. He's not going to see some of these cards for months and months and months. So
hmm
I think there should be, and I think they did say they were working on that. I read in the developer notes that people were talking about like for returning players, and I think they did say they're going to do something for the returning players coming up. So that's good. That makes it better for people who like had to, unfortunate things happen. You have to leave the game for a little while, but then you still want to play, and then you come back
hmm
and then you're like, oh damn, look at all these cool cards that I have that I can't play now. But yeah, it's just little tweaks here and there, quality of life things. I do think that I would love to see, honestly, in this next patch coming up. I don't, I'm not, I would love to see them do a patch that maybe doesn't even have cards in it, but fix up the game a little bit. In other words, what I mean by that is fix the runtime of the game. it's gotten very laggy over the past couple of months. There's errors in the game still. Like last night, for instance, for me, I was playing in Conquest. I played 5 consecutive matches where I got the same location each match. Stuff like that. I call it quality of life. Fix that stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, even if you have to take a patch and spend that time and just, you know what, we're going to fix up some of this business. We're going to get in there. We're going to do some stuff. We're going to make it quality of life changes. We're going to just fix this so that plays better. I think people would appreciate that, even if there weren't any card changes. Not like last time when they said, well, there's no card changes this time, but we have this new thing where you could purchase. That's a little silly to do that. You know, you have to just you got to keep the masses happy, you know? So, but yeah, man, awesome stuff.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I loved having you aboard, but I don't want to keep you any longer. I usually stay for about an hour and a half, but yeah, it's been a pleasure, man. I found out, I found a fellow Cowboys fan, a fellow horror fan, fellow comic book reader. Fantastic. I absolutely love it. Very, very similar to myself and the reasons why I play this game. And I love the advice that you gave for players as far as playing the game. Love that too. You know, it's good for them to hear that, because a lot of times they're just not getting that from me because I don't have that experience. So yeah, man, I love it. I absolutely love it. Appreciate you coming aboard, man. And I hope that I hope you continue to do it. And listen, if you ever decide to create content, let me know. I will certainly let everybody know that you're doing that. I thought about it for a split second, but I am technologically impaired. So I don't know. I'd literally have to figure out. I don't have a gaming computer, so I'd have to figure out with my system how to get the game on. I'd have to have 2 monitors, have a game on one monitor and have that running through this on the other one. But I honestly don't know if my computer would make it work really well. It would be laggy, I think. And so it's like, I was thinking about it just for the fact that I do that goofy weekends with Agatha thing that I do every single weekend. And people often said, oh, you should play Agatha all the time on the stream. I'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't get very far, but it would surely be fun to watch. But yeah, if you decide to do that, yeah, let me know, man. I'm sure a lot of people would enjoy that. Were you thinking of streaming on what, Twitch or YouTube? One of those two?
Yeah. I have been thinking about it. But like you said, I haven't played on a computer myself.
Yeah.
I've only played mobile.
Me too.
And there's just some hurdles to jump through before I could, to get there. I would love to. I think I could help people.
I'm sure you could.
And I like community, and I like meeting new people, and I like talking to new people. So it's something that I've really enjoyed. So I would like to be able to do it, and I probably will.
Nice.
But as of right now, yeah, I don't stream or anything. But I appreciate that.
No problem. Yeah, you should look into it. I mean, if you have the hardware, if you have the computer that can do it, then it's usually if you have a laptop and it's a pretty decent laptop, you can do it right from the laptop. It's not hard. Like this program that we're using here, we use for another podcast that I do. Myself and my co-host use it. It's very easy to use. I find it. I tried messing around with OBS. OBS is hard. There's just a lot of little things to that I was just like, nope, it's just too much. But yeah, if you ever get into it, yeah, man, keep me posted. Let me know. Yeah, I'm sure there would be. I mean, you've got a lot of people that are talking to you on X the way it is, so I'm sure a lot of them would probably enjoy seeing you stream the game. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. It's awesome.
I appreciate that. And I appreciate you having me on. I've really enjoyed talking to you. I like talking about common interests. I don't get that too often, so
yeah.
It's been fun.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah, you are welcome anytime, man. But yeah, All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Snap Decisions. So make sure that you go and check out New Mutant Snap, of course, on the X. He has a really cool little channel over there on X that he talks about Snap and much more. So make sure you go check him out. This video here will be out, of course, in video and audio format. If you are going to watch it on YouTube, please make sure you like the video and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. I would very much appreciate that. If you're listening to it on audio, hey, I love you guys. You know that's where I started. So I appreciate you doing that. If you are, kindly leave me a review, whether it be on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can review them. Do that. It helps me out as well. And also make sure you check out the audio pod that I have coming out a little bit later on tonight, the weekly audio pod. And then I will be going on to the Kid Snap show as well. I know you were just on there also. Great dude.
Wonderful people. Wonderful people.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love him and No Big Deal are two of my favorite people in Marvel Snap. So I will be joining them a little later this week as well. So that said, guys, that's it for this one. I will be back next week with a new guest on the show. Until then, please stay safe, be kind to one another, and hopefully I will see you all for the next episode of Snap Decisions. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.